Coors Field, the spot tonight. Game 2 of this 3-game set between the Rockies and the Philadelphia Phillies. And the Phils came from behind last night and beat the Rockies in 10 innings, 4-3. Philadelphia now 30 games north of 500. The Rockies will try to return the favor here this evening. And hi once again, everybody, along with George Frazier. I'm Drew Goodman. Tonight we begin talking about Seth Smith. He had a 2-run home run last night against Cole Hamels, left on left. Very impressive. And he's got great numbers, and I mean great, against Kyle Kendrick.
Yes, he does. Right-hander on the hill today. He's got a lot of great numbers against him, but the first home run since June 21st last night for him, going against the left-hander, dead center field. Interesting enough, 208 average, 4 home runs, 26 RBIs in his career, totaling 183 at-bats against left-handers. You see the highest average against for a right fielder in 60 games in right field. You see the numbers. Seth's doing a pretty good job out there, hitting 288. But you look at some guys he's had a lot of success against. Cliff Lee, 2 for 4. Jeremy Affeldt, tough lefty, good slider, big hook, 5 for 11 in his career. So he has picked on some left-handers, but he's been picked on too.
And the question has been, can Seth be a guy that plays every day, whether it's a righty or a lefty out there? The good news, as you alluded to, is there's a right-hander out there. He is 8 for 11 against Kyle Kendrick, looking to continue that trend.
That's a pretty good number when you're hitting that high.
Absolutely. When we come back, Alana Rizzo and Jeff Houston will check in.
Set for game 2 of a 3-game set here in Denver. Aaron Cook on the hill tonight for the Colorado Rockies. Cookie hasn't had a lot of success against the Phillies, a 1-6 record, an ERA just over 6. But really, who has had success against the Philadelphia Phillies as of late downfield level. Alongside Jeff Houston, I'm Alana Rizzo. And Jeff, the Philadelphia Phillies have won 118 games going back to July 22nd of last year. Still successful this year. They have the best record in all of Major League Baseball, but they're doing it with a bit of a different formula in 2011.
Well, you think back to 2007 through 2010, it was a lot of offense that really carried this ball club. They were first in runs, home runs, slugging percentage. This year, a little bit different story. I don't want to say 6th, 7th, and 8th is real bad, but it comes down to their starting staff. And you knew this was going to be one of those areas for the Phillies coming into this year with the addition of Cliff Lee coming back, and you had Roy Oswalt, you had Roy Halladay, you had Cole Hamels, Joe Blanton, who unfortunately is injured, but the starting five was going to be their strong suit this year, and they've carried that forward.
Yeah, without question. You know the names of Hamels and Halladay, Oswalt, those types of guys, Cliff Lee, but really two other guys, Vance Worley and Kyle Kendrick, have had to step it up for the Phillies as well. Worley with 12 starts. Kendrick will be making his 11th start tonight.
Well, and he's a guy that is not an overpowering guy. He pitches to contact. He's a sinker ball with a little bit of a cut fastball. We'll go with the changeup, but he's, as I mentioned, not overpowering. He's about 88 to 90 miles an hour. It's going to be interesting tonight, though, to see what happens, because he has not had good success against the Rockies, hitting to a tune of almost 350. The Rockies are against him. But the other thing is, this might be his last start.
Oswalt coming off
because Oswalt coming off and the way Vance Worley has pitched.
Yeah, no question about it. It'll be an interesting game. Hopefully a pitcher's duel tonight here at Coors Field in Denver as we get set for Game 2 of a 3-game set between the Philadelphia Phillies and the Colorado Rockies. Baseball is next on Root Sports. Stay with us.
Colorado Rockies baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. By Ford Fusion, with quality, power, and economy, we speak value. Ford Fusion, drive one. By Quest. Quest is becoming CenturyLink. Your link begins here. Find out more at CenturyLink.com/link. By Jack in the Box. Jack's really big chicken sandwich combo is back for only $3.99 plus tax at participating restaurants. And by Southwest Airlines, new Rapid Rewards, unlimited reward seats, and no blackout dates. Well, it's a pretty night in downtown Denver. We had some sprinkles throughout batting practice, particularly when the Rockies were taking BP. But it seems to have moved on through, and we haven't checked with our resident meteorologist, Doug Marino, who's now giving me the thumbs down for weather later on this evening. Hopefully it'll avoid us. Here's Aaron Cook's first pitch to Jimmy Rollins, ball 1.
Well, he told me 7:33.45 seconds that it's going to rain.
That sounds like Doug.
Actually, it was Sam. Sam said 7:30 each. Doug, I gave Doug a 30-minute window either way, and he wanted like a 4-hour window. I said, no, we're not going to do that.
First 2 pitches from Aaron Cook missed to Jimmy Rollins.
Cook started out rough. Everybody's talked about it. 0-5 in those first 7 starts. 582 earned run average. The last couple have been pretty good. 2-0, 277 earned run average. Making his 10th start of the year. The earned run average now sits at 5.05 with a success in those last 2 starts.
And not even close with any of those first 4 pitches. So Aaron Cook walks Jimmy Rollins. That's not how you want to begin. Let's take a look at the rest of the Southwest Airlines lineup for Charlie Manuel. He'll have Shane Victorino in the 2 spot again. Then Chase Utley, Ryan Howard naturally will bat cleanup. Newly acquired Hunter Pence, Raul Ibanez, Placido Polanco, Brian Schneider doing the catching for Carlos Ruiz this evening, and then Kyle Kendrick. And there's a strike on Victorino.
First 3 guys in their lineup, 50 stolen bases combined. They've only been caught 8 times. Jimmy Rollins leads that with 24 stolen bases, been caught 5 times. Victorino 15 and been caught 3 times. Chase Utley is yet to be caught.
One ball, 1 strike on Victorino, who played hero last night, hitting a home run against Rex Brothers on a 3-2 pitch in the top of the 10th inning. It was the 10th home run for Victorino. He was hitting .382 over his last 9 ball games. This is an extremely deep lineup. Some people may look at stats and say, well, right now they're kind of in the middle of the pack of the National League. There's not a GM in baseball that wouldn't take this lineup to roll out when healthy every day.
Yeah, who would refuse this lineup?
That's just off the corner, 2-1.
And a lot of people have talked about Frisco's pitching. Can they shut down Philly's hitting? Well, Frisco's and Philly's starting is in pretty good shape. They've added Hunter Pence to their ball club, a guy hoping to add some offense.
2-1 pitch, a lot of times an action pitch, and Rollins not going in. It's 3-1. Well, just how good are these Phillies as Iannetta visits the mound? They're 69 and 39, 30 games over 500 for the first time this year. Jimmy Rollins has been an all-star 3 times. He's been a league MVP. Victorino an all-star twice. Utley 5 times. Howard's been an MVP. He's been an all-star several times. Pence an all-star in 09 and this year. Ibanez has been an all-star. Polanco's been an all-star with 2 different teams. 07 he was an all-star with Detroit. And Carlos Ruiz, who's their everyday catcher, I thought he was an all-star last year, and I was wrong, but he should have been. He led the Phillies in hitting last year at .302. That's a base hit through the right side, and Rollins will go first to third. And a headache to start already for Aaron Cook. 2 on, nobody out, and Chase Utley coming up. Rockies again will have Eric Young in left field. Dexter's in center. Seth Smith in right field. Stewart and Tulowitzki on the left side of the diamond. Mark Ellis with Todd Helton after Todd sat out yesterday's game. And Chris Iannetta, who homered last night. He's behind the plate, as we've already established. So here's Utley. And the Phillies this year, their numbers down. Utley missed basically a third of the season, the first couple of months with the knee injury. Victorino's been on the DL a couple of times. They're getting healthy at the right time for them and the wrong time for everybody else.
Well, and add to the bullpen with Lidge coming back too, that's going to solidify it. Then now you've got Madsen closing.
Yes, in Georgia, they had 3 different closers and all have done well.
Yeah, 31 saves, 32 saves now combined between them. And when you have the starting rotation that they have, they're going to win out on the road because they're scoring a little over 4 runs out on the road this year. Then you couple that with that top 4 starting rotation that they have. It's a dangerous team to deal with. I was impressed by Bastardo last night, too. The left-hander coming out of the bullpen looked like J.C. Romero at a younger age.
Yeah, he's got good stuff, doesn't he? Here's the 1-0 to Utley. That's in there, 1-1. Yeah, Jeff, it's a lineup really that does not give you any breaks.
Well, and that's what makes them so special. We did a hit just coming into the ball game here about where they stand as far as numbers are. You know, 6th in runs, 7th, and all this other stuff. But as you pointed out earlier, it's because you're missing Chase Utley for a while. Guys like that, Victorino's missed some time with the hamstring. When this team is rolling, they got a lot of depth.
Tell you what, they almost
close.
Almost got Victorino on the third to first move.
Yep, sure did. Well, the reason they've won 5 of their last road series, too. You start winning out on the road like that, and it's going to be against some pretty good baseball teams.
Rockies need a double play ball here. This is called minimize the damage. What do you see, George? You're just spraying that sinker.
Yeah, I'm just watching a little bit of the delivery, see if it's getting quick again as you're trying to force it down into the bottom half of the zone, getting the extension out. For Aaron Cook, the key is he needs to finish outside of that little left knee right there. When he does that, he's got good sink on the ball. When he has a hip side or thigh side finish, the ball's flat and runs flat. As a pitcher, you feel like you're really getting out over it. But then when you don't, I mean, the ball's up and it stays pretty flat. As you look at this on the side, we're going to let it roll through, and as that arm comes over the top, everything's pretty good. Breaks well over the rubber, separation's good, and you get out on top. This is the area you want to see that arm come through every single time, and this is what we're talking about, coming across that hip side to where it creates a flat running fastball versus a heavy sinking fastball. Sounds simple to fix, it's not when you're out on the mound in the heat of the battle.
Rollins at third. Victorino at first. He takes off, and it's a ground ball to short, and only one play, and that's to first. Because Victorino's in motion. No chance for 2, and I don't think the Rockies could have turned 2 there anyhow.
No.
Huey, the ball wasn't hit nearly hard enough. Utley runs plenty well enough that he would have beaten that. So it's an RBI for Utley, his 33rd, 1-0 Philly.
But watch Troy just for a second glance home.
Yeah, he thought about it.
And
he
then
really did.
Then he was wise and said, if I don't get him and I don't get Utley, then you've got first and second, nobody out.
Yeah, you blow yourself up into a big inning that way. Early in a ball game, get the out when you can get the out.
Aaron's coming off a great performance, 7 innings of shutout baseball in Los Angeles, but he's already been nicked for 1, and here's Ryan Howard. This lineup that Aaron Cook's facing have hit .340 against him in his career. And the interesting thing is the one guy that Aaron Cook's owned is Shane Victorino. Victorino was 1 for 16 coming into tonight's ball game, and he singled. If you eliminated Victorino coming in from the equation, this lineup's hit almost .380 lifetime against Aaron Cook. It has not been one of the teams he has enjoyed success against.
And with Victorino out at second base, you can't pull the shift on Ryan Howard. So that opens up some more holes on the right side where he could hit a base hit through where you might have a guy playing with the shift.
That catches the corner. Dale Scott's behind home plate. Jerry Meals at first base. C.B. Buckner at second. Dan Iasagna's at third. Ryan Howard, he does that Ichiro thing and just holds it there until the pitcher gets ready.
Jim Thome does that too.
Yeah, Thome does it. I thought his arm was going to fall off in that sequence.
Not his arms.
Yeah, probably right.
Maybe a normal human being.
Good numbers with runners in scoring position. Howard 9 for 23 lifetime against Cook. 2-2. Victorino at second, 1 out and a run in. Top of inning number 1. Easy play from Mark Ellis. Victorino to third, 2 gone. Hey, Text the Booth is back. This will actually be our third Tuesday, providing you with Text the Booth. Text in your questions, and we'll answer them live on the air tonight. Text chair, followed by a space, and then your question is 720-720. The reason we ask you to text chair is that, once again, it's brought to you by Office Liquidators, Colorado's largest selection of mesh back chairs. So big thanks to Office Liquidators. We'll get to your questions as the evening rolls on. Hunter Pence with 2 outs. And there's that good curveball from Cook.
Showing something different. This is a guy that has struggled since he put on the Philadelphia uniform. Now, he had a great year going down in Houston with their ball club. Those numbers reflect that. But with Philadelphia, 214, 1 RBI.
It's early, and I would assume, Jeff, he's pressing a little bit.
Oh, I'm sure. Plus, he's going from a place in Houston that was probably averaging about 15,000, 17,000 fans going to Philadelphia. Sellouts every night. I know he was only there briefly, but the expectation's much higher.
I'll tell you a quick story. I asked him earlier, I said, you have some clothes to wear that's not a baseball uniform, you're looking at his spikes. He said, well, I finally have actual team issue spikes. I was spray painting my old Astros spikes the first few ball games. And then, this is what kind of gamer he is. He said, I don't care what I look like off the field. He goes, I got a couple things. I washed them. I'm good to go. This ball's hit to the gap in left center field. That's going to run all the way to the wall. Victorino has scored 2-0. And Hunter Pence stops with an RBI double.
Well, if you could escape out of that, if you're Aaron Cook with only the 1 run scoring, you'd feel pretty lucky about it. But a 2-out base hit comes around to haunt you. Now you got another guy in scoring position. This sinker ran to that inner half. Nice job of dropping the back leg. Watch the back leg drop. He's going to go down to have the ability to lift this baseball, which is what he's trying to do with that hard sinker, to get it into the air and hit the line drive. And then the top spin and the power came out, and you can see EY off to the chases to try to get to the baseball.
On the inside corner, a strike to Raul Ibanez. Ibanez drove in a run last night with a double. He has driven in 26 in his last 22 games. 0-2 to count.
Well, every month, at the first of the month, they bring around to the booth a lot of times and ask us to vote on players of the month. This was my guy for player of the month. 7 home runs, 26 RBIs. He hit .293, put up good numbers, and then basically doing what this ball club had hoped he would do all year. As Drew mentioned a little while back, good time to get hot. This club's getting hotter.
Down low, and it's 1-2 on the 39-year-old Ibanez, who was born in New York and grew up in South Florida. Most RBIs the last 10 days. Raul Ibanez right behind Justin Upton. Upton's on a different planet lately. Rockies got a first-hand view of just how hot Upton has been a few days back. Here's the 1-2. And Cook strikes out Ibanez. In the inning, 2 runs on 2 hits. There was a walk as well. Pence drove into second. Phillies off to a quick lead. Bottom half of the first inning. Eric Young Jr. will lead things off. And as we glance at Jim Tracy's lineup presented by Southwest Airlines, you'll see Dexter Fowler again in the second spot. Todd Helton back in there. He'll bat third. Tulowitzki will bat cleanup. Seth Smith, who has great numbers against Kyle Kendrick. We talked about it in the open, 8 for 11. Then Ian Stewart, he's got good numbers, 3 for 8 and a home run against Kendrick. Mark Ellis, Chris Ionetta, and Cook. Part-time starter this year for the Philadelphia Phillies, Kyle Kendrick, George.
Yeah, and a year ago threw 180 and 2/3 innings for their ball club, went 11-10 a year ago. Now working out of the bullpen as a long man spot starter. So on his career, pretty good numbers, 40 and 29, 452. So indicative of a guy that's 118 starts, 93 games started at the big league level. Contact guy, get a lot of ground balls, much like Eric Cook. Tries to work both sides of the plate. He'll mix 3 pitches into it. Signed as a 7th round draft pick out of high school.
Way inside 1-1. Yeah, he's very similar to Aaron Cook, Jeff, in that he doesn't strike anybody out. He doesn't walk a lot of guys, but he strikes out around 3 per 9 innings.
Yeah, just 32 strikeouts in almost 80 innings. So that tells you he has to pitch to contact. Can't afford to let some extra guys get out there.
He's never fared well in this ballpark. This is his 4th start here. He's got a 6.35 ERA at Coors Field. However, the Phils have scored a lot of runs as well, and he's going to get a ground ball here. The club, Philadelphia, is 2-1 in his 3 starts here, despite his rather large ERA. Now, the Phillies, like the Rockies, play good defense. Ibanez in left. Victorino and Pence are outstanding defenders. Polanco has the highest fielding percentage again at third base in the National League. He led the National League in that department a year ago. Rollins has numerous gold gloves. Utley's outstanding at second. Howard's solid at first. And Brian Schneider, a few years back, George, there were a lot of people who looked upon Schneider as maybe the top defensive catcher in the National League. You know, Jamie Quirk, who worked here for a long time, now down with the Astros. Jamie Quirk, who caught for almost 2 decades in the big leagues, he loved Brian Schneider behind the plate.
Well, I would think of Montreal when he started all those ball games, how good he was defensively throwing out guy. And you know what? He'd run into a fastball occasionally too. This is a very good guy that to back up an all-star catcher like Ruiz, only because he accepts the position he is at this time in his career and realizes this is a pretty good chance to get some rings on my finger. I find it interesting, though, Kendrick against his own division, 4-1 with a 147 earned run average. Mets are playing much better baseball. The Atlanta Braves are a good baseball team.
That's off the plate. One more note. It's maybe the most important thing, fellas, about Brian Schneider this year. This is his 22nd start. The club is 18-3 in his previous 21 starts.
That's pretty good.
3-1 on Fowler.
Either that or he's caught Halladay a lot.
This ball's well hit to left field, and it is off the 347 side. A double for Dexter Fowler, who has not hit a home run this year. And he almost went deep there, Jeff, right down the left field line.
Opposite field from the left side, but you could tell with that leg kick now how he's generating so much more power and then staying behind the baseball. That is the key. His body is not sliding out in front from underneath him before he makes contact. Notice how he's still generating through those hips when the ball makes contact with the barrel of the bat.
A chance for the Rockies to get a run back here. Helton's at the plate. Fowler at second and 1 out. Todd had the full night off yesterday. A lot of times when he doesn't play with the Rockies having a lead late in the game, you'll see him come in on defense. That was not the case yesterday. Gave the back a full day off. Helton 4 for 9 lifetime against Kendrick. And then it would be 4 for 10.
Hey, by the way, I want to take a quick moment before Tulowitzki gets in the box. Got to do this. Got to do this. Rose Governor from Lander, Wyoming, turned 100 years old today. From Lander, Wyoming, Rose Governor. She is 100 years old today. Happy birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday, Rose.
Watches all the games. That is awesome. So where's Lander, Wyoming, Doug? Is that by Cheyenne? Casper?
No.
No.
Huey went to the University of Wyoming. Huey, where's Lander?
You're putting me on the spot now.
He grew up in Arizona. I mean, he didn't go anywhere but to the university and back home again.
He took a few horseback rides.
Just
in
a
his
couple.
day.
Just a couple. I know it's not.
That's how they get to class there. What do you mean? That's where he wrote it.
How'd you know?
Because,
Huey was an equine major. Well, happy birthday, Rose. That is terrific. And thanks for spending a little part of your day with us each night during the summer. We appreciate it. Two 2-0 on Troy. Going to get a 2-out ribby. It would be his 74th. Rockies down 2-0. Bottom of inning number 1. Lost 4-3 in 10 last night. Two very tough losses back to back. Kendrick's fallen behind 3-0, but George, as we've mentioned many a time, pitchers know who have big numbers off him. He glances in that on deck circle. He's, whoa, wait a second. I know Tulowitzki's a great player, but Smith owns me.
Yeah, Smith owns me, but you start to force it. You work the ball out of the strike zone, but you also look at Tulowitzki with 73 RBIs and 20 home runs. You're thinking, you know what? Maybe my luck will turn with the lefty in the on deck circle too. Helton and Gonzalez, two Helton's top 10 in hitting. Gonzalez out of the lineup now. This was the one guy that could really, consistently beat you.
Fowler at second. He doubled with 1 out. They're 2 gone now. 3-1 on Tulowitzki.
And as hot as he's been during the break, 370, 7th in the National League, 16 RBIs. That's 3rd in the National League since the All-Star break, according to the weatherman Doug Marino.
The cutter misses, so there are 2 on for Seth Smith, whose batting average sounds more like one of those planes you get on when you leave DIA. He's hitting .727 against Kendrick in his career, Jeff.
Pretty good numbers. Hey, real quick. Lander, Wyoming. It's up by Riverton in the middle part of the state. I got that.
Who texted you?
My wife. She's from Cheyenne, so Wendy told me.
Ask her population, and
it's not very big, I can tell you that much.
Okay. There's a strike on Smith. Best restaurant in town. We want details.
So give her time.
Population is 7,123 people.
You're making that
I'm
up.
not either. I'm making it up.
That's not a small town. 7,000. That's pretty good size.
Well, it's also the county seat of Fremont County.
There you go. Now I know you're cheating.
I'm not cheating.
1 ball, 1 strike.
If you get out of that neighborhood of yours and wander around, you'd see all kinds of stuff.
maybe drive up to Wyoming sometime.
Yeah, Dougie's working overtime helping Frazier right now. That's in 2-1. Swung on a miss, 2-2. Here's a McDonald's Big Mac smack. Yesterday against Cole Hamels, Seth Smith unloaded with a man aboard to dead center field. His first home run in 6 weeks. Be sure to text McD to get a free Egg McMuffin or Big Mac with the purchase of any drink, 1 per person. It's valid tomorrow only at participating Northern Colorado, Nebraska, and Wyoming McDonald's. Get one Lander. Strike 3 on the outside corner. So the Rockies leave 2 on in the first. They trail 2-0 as we move to inning number 2. quote of the day. Former Philly and a guy with a big bat. Richie Allen. Your body's just like a bar of soap. It gradually wears down from repeated use. Every baseball player, every athlete's felt that at some time or another, especially the ones that get to hang around a long time, right, Jeff?
I felt that way getting up out of bed this morning.
Not George. He just springs out of bed.
Boom. I was at Sam's. I was having the hard hat, 3 over medium sausage, 7 o'clock. Let's go.
Jog there, in fact. 0-1 on Polanco. And that's pulled to third. And Stewart knocks it down and throws out Placido Polanco. 1 gone.
Jeff, if you get real bored down there, tonight's strawberry shortcake night in the booth.
All right. Thanks for letting me know. I might sneak up there in about the 6th or 7th
There'll
inning.
be enough there. Trust me. Barb Barbison, who...
Make sure you put some in the fridge, George.
Okay.
All right.
It's in the fridge right now. Keep it cool. You know, Goody doesn't eat sugar, so we can just kill it.
Hang on.
All right, see you in a minute. All right.
0-1 on Schneider. Strawberry shortcake looks good.
You're not
again.
having it.
I'll let you have it all again.
Again is right.
Barb can whip together some strawberry shortcake.
Tell him. That and the banana. That's pretty good too. Banana pudding.
That's foul. 1-2. How about this about the Phillies? They're 13-7 against the National League West. And in the last few years, the West, outstanding pitching. Tough to win games out west. You know how good the Rockies typically are at Coors Field. You know what the Giants do at AT&T, the Dodgers most years at Dodger Stadium. Petco, difficult place to go. And against the West this year, 13-7, 75-42 against the West the last few years. Two outs. I'll bring up Kyle Kendrick. See how big Mark Ellis is. The TV station down from Rapid City to do a story on Ellis today. Actually, a couple of them.
We're getting interviews from everybody. Sat down Troy Tulowitzki for a few moments talking about Mark. You know, before the game, he saw some people that had come down from Rapid Cities. He went over there and said hi to them.
Hey, we got a first text in. How about that? Want to know how Jose Morales is doing and coming along with his wrist injury.
Swung on and missed. We'll get to that next inning. We'll give
He's
you an update
doing good.
on
We got
Jose
to him.
Morales. Here, he's in the clubhouse today. He's coming along. Still got ways to go. Thanks for your question, Jeff. with Alana Rizzo for the first time in a while. Alana?
All right, guys, thanks very much. Please save some of that strawberry shortcake for me, Frage. I would greatly appreciate it. The Philadelphia Phillies
hold on,
are 69.
Alana, I'm
yes,
interrupt
is
for
he
a
already
second.
eating it?
He's not even here. He's been eating since we went to commercial, so I'll tell him when he gets back.
Please share. The Philadelphia Phillies are 69-39, guys, 30 games above 500, and they really have done a great job of sharing the wealth throughout the 2011 season. In fact, they have won at least 16 games each month of 2011. They're the 5th club in Major League Baseball to ever do it since the modern era began. You can take a look at the other clubs. The first ones to do it, the 1969 Orioles, followed by the 1984 Tigers, 1997 Braves, and the 1998 Yankees. And as we were talking about earlier in our open, they've done it really with pitching this year. We're so used to them with such a potent lineup, but really the guys on the hill are getting the job done. 16 games at least, 1 per month this season, guys.
Yeah, they're very steady.
Yeah, this is the only losing day for them, and any day they play during the week is 7-9 on this date, on Tuesdays. That's just one of those stats to throw out there.
Glad you did. Stewart's retired. Mark Ellis.
Talking about the Philadelphia Phillies.
Yes. Mark trying to kick an 0 for 20 slide. He takes a strike on the outside corner. Broken bat, fly ball to left field, and Ibanez has it 2 outs. When the Rockies score 7 or more runs during any ball game, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day between 4 and 6 to get your Rockies taco special. Feed your Rockies fever only at Taco Bell. A long home run, line drive home run to left center field last night. His 11th of the year. That gave the Rockies a 3-1 lead at the time. Three and up. The big fly last night.
A laser shot into left center. Jeff and I both talked about this. Damage to the baseball, and you better have a glove on in left center when it was incoming, because it was coming quick.
Three 0 pitches in there. It's 3-1. And that's called a strike. 3-2. Chris thought he had his 60th walk of the season. Last time the Rockies saw Kyle Kendrick, Jason Giambi was playing ping pong with the seats against him.
Just 3 home runs, 7 RBIs for the night. Had a good night.
2 of the home runs against Kendrick. Here's the 3-2. And the amazing thing, Jeff, about the 3 home run game for Giambi, who's got well over 420 home runs. First time in his career he'd hit 3 jacks in a game.
And there was no doubt about any of them either. I mean, as soon as they left the bat, you knew it was just a matter of how far it was going to go.
This is a ground ball to Polanco, an easy play. 1-2-3. Go the Rockies in the second inning. Philadelphia leads it 2-0. Sports is brought to you by your neighborhood Toyota stores. Toyota, moving forward. By AT&T, the nation's fastest mobile broadband network. And by King Soopers, more value for the way you live. Bang the bat on the plate, and you're ready to go. Jimmy Rollins will lead it off in the third inning against Aaron Cook. He saw 4 pitches out of the strike zone beginning the ball game, and he would eventually score on an RBI ground out by Chase Utley. And he still hasn't seen a strike. Let me ask you something. How many? I mean, is that 2 or 3?
What, are you worried about calories with me? I don't care about calories.
No, I'm just asking you. Is that because I'm trying to save some for Jeff and Alana?
We'll come upstairs.
Very
right
concerned
back there
about them.
They better hurry because Doug's had 1 and he's warming up for 2. Just telling you.
How about Sam?
Sam's killed his. That was done a long time ago. Homemade bread cooked and to go with the cake. Homemade whipped cream.
Yeah, I noticed Jim Armitride, our director, hasn't cut one of Sam's shots in about an inning and a half.
Hard to when you're eating it all the time.
3-1 on Rollins.
Pretty good. You want a bite?
No, I'll sit here and kind of do my gig. You enjoy that.
Well, I know you don't like to eat this kind of stuff.
I love that stuff. It's good for you. This is on the ground to second. Mark Ellis is there. And Rollins is retired. That'll bring up Victorino. Victorino again had entered the ball game 1 for 16 lifetime against Aaron Cook, and he bounced one through the right side. So now he's 2 for 17. He scored in the first inning on a 2-out double by Hunter Pence.
Yeah, he was ahead in the count, though. That helps a lot. You go to swinging against a guy that you have not had success against.
Here's the 1-1 outside. 2-1 on Victorino. Here's something interesting on Victorino. He's the first player in Major League Baseball this year to have 10+ doubles. He's got 17 of those. 10+ triples. He has 12 of those. He now has 10 home runs after last night. And 10+ stolen bases. Jeff, he's got 15 bags.
And that's what makes him so valuable, hitting behind Jimmy Rollins and in front of Chase Utley. When you can do all that on your own and then throw the rest of the lineup up there, special things will happen.
All right, what made him a Rule 5 pick twice, meaning he's exposed to other teams after spending enough time in the minor leagues? What made him twice and what made him stick?
Probably opportunity, some of it. Eric Young out in left field has it, 2 outs. And I would presume he obviously got better. That's something that maybe we don't always take into account, but just because a guy gets to the big leagues, you can get better, can't you?
Well, that's one thing. You know, an old scout and a very good friend of mine used to say all the time, players do get better. Even when they get to the big leagues, they get better.
I just kind of find it hard to give up on his speed because you know the speed was there even early on when the skill set might not have matched it up at that time.
Well, you've heard me talk about Tom Greenaway, the scout that signed Mickey Mantle. He used to say, if they can run, I'll teach you to hit 260.
Chase Utley. Utley an RBI ground out in the first inning. 6 in a row retired by Aaron Cook since the double by Pence. Tough chance for Ellis, and he just got it to Helton in the nick of time. Well done by Mark Ellis, and a sound 1-2-3 inning for Aaron Cook. Like to welcome all of our Optimum viewers from Casper, Wyoming. George, I can show you where Casper is.
I've been to Casper. I like that town.
There you go. I've been there also. Good town. Root Sports and the Rockies appreciate your support up there in Casper. So send us a message on the Root Sports Facebook page. Let us know your favorite place to root for the Rockies. That's Casper, Wyoming, and the Optimum viewers up there. Aaron Cook leading off for the Rockies in the third inning. First pitch in there for a strike from Kyle Kendrick. Kendrick has picked his teammates well. Jeff, he's got a .452 career ERA, but he's 11 games over 500 at 40-29.
That's smart pitching. Know which team you're playing on? Do they have enough offense? I'll go there.
Well, you know what? He knows his teammates well, but he thought a few years ago, Huey, that he was getting different teammates. Now, he had a really nice rookie year, and they pulled one of the all-time pranks on the then 23-year-old Kendrick. In spring training in Clearwater, Charlie Manuel called him in his office, and he had another club official with him, and he said, "We've traded you to a team in Japan for Kobayashi." This is a line drive glove by Ryan Howard, and he didn't realize who Kobayashi was. In fact, he eats a lot of hot dogs. And of course, you know, he's still a young player. Didn't realize you can't make just a trade with a team in Japan. And so they had him sign these documents, and he thinks he's off to Japan, and he kind of stumbles out of the office. He's in complete shock during spring training, and his other teammates were involved in the prank also. He runs into Brett Myers. I put that in quotations, runs into him. Brett Myers says, "Boy, what's the matter, man? You look like you're in shock." He said, "Well, I just got traded to a team in Japan." He said, "Oh, man, bummer." He said, "We better tell your teammates." So he tells some of his teammates, and then they get all the media around, and the media was involved in it also. Thing ends up on YouTube. He ends up on the Today Show. They had him complete. I mean, he was dumbfounded in the interview.
Well, I don't think Charlie knew the difference either till it was over.
Charlie played a long time over there.
Charlie's a hero over in Japan.
0-2 on EY.
That's cold, though.
Well, it is, but it's fun.
That's spring training. You can get away with that then, right?
No, you really shouldn't do that.
Not during spring training. That's enough time for young guys.
Yeah, when you're the 23rd through 25th guy every year, and you're sitting around there, and all of a sudden guys start saying you're going. Traded.
Well, they got him.
Or you call mom and say, "I'm going to Japan," and she's like, "What? Are you kidding me?" And you call her back and say, "Just kidding." And she really doesn't think it's funny.
Two and two. I guess Kyle had to open up a newspaper, watch some TV back then, also around the 4th of July, find out who Kobayashi was. This is up the middle and on through, a base hit for Eric Young Jr. Second hit for the Rockies.
Kendrick does a pretty nice job as a pitcher squaring himself up to the home plate area. That's just a hot shot, one hopper right at him as it got off of this glove. See, hit him right on the heel and the thumb, and then on out into the outfield. Hit well, very well by EY, and it got into the center field area. Now let's see if speed pays here dividends for the Rockies with EY at first.
Fowler doubled off the left field wall his first time up. Dexter, since his recall, Huey, hitting .344. He's got 16 runs scored in 17 games.
What I like, too, is he's raised that left-handed average almost to .260 now.
Kendrick, George, did a nice job of holding that baseball there.
Freezes runners all the time. I was really fortunate because I played with Lou Brock in St. Louis, and he always talked about, from pitcher's perspective, what was the hardest thing for a base runner to adapt to. He said, "I hated when right-handers just held the baseball. Things start to tense, you freeze, you upright yourself, that's quick." Snap move over to first, too. A good one.
Well, Eric had to dive there because the first time he came back feet first, and it was real close.
Ball and a strike. Dexter Fowler was studying the signs of Richie Dower a moment ago. No movement, and this one's popped up down the left field line. Rollins will not have a play. He had the best angle to it. Polanco and Obanez in the neighborhood as well. It's 1-2 on Fowler. All season long, join us for Toyota Talk. Text your comments during the game. See what you and other fans are thinking about. Text Toyota followed by a space. Add those comments and questions to 720-720. Just missed. 2-2.
It's just the way Dexter's taking pitches now, even though that looked like it might have caught the top of the forward strike zone. Just the balance throughout the whole swing process.
There goes EY, and Snyder's throws to the shortstop side of the bag, and another stolen base for Eric Young. That's his 7th.
Well, he finally got the read, and the pitch that he wanted to run on, Brian Snyder had to really muscle up and try to get this ball to second base faster because of the jump that Eric got. Jimmy Rollins knocked that ball down and kept it from going to center field, allowing Eric to go to third base.
Well, one big number jumps out for me is Dexter Fowler, 380 average with runners in scoring position. That's huge.
Strike 3 on the inside corner. Now Fowler's gone.
Most of those pitches that come to the inside corner on Dexter, and it's here the fourth strike zone says inside. It was inside off of the zone, but it's been soft, something with a slider, something with a changeup. This is a fastball that tails back to the inside, but you're going to see this ball work inside and well off of the plate. Tough call for Dexter.
Helton hit a fly ball to center. His first time up. 2 gone. And a soft line drive that Howard can't reach. 0-1. Time for another office liquidators text the booth question. When's Helton's contract over? And who do the Rockies have developing at first base? Todd's contract, when he redid it a couple years ago, now extends through 2013. So he has 2 more years after this one. And George, you check out Modesto quite a bit. You live in Tulsa.
Well, Polson's a guy that's there that had a big spring, but he hasn't carried that over to the season. And then you've got Kyle Rowling, a guy at Modesto that's had a decent year. Jared Clark, another big power hitting first baseman, both right-handers. Polson's the one guy they'd like to see, I think, take off. A left-handed hitter, pretty good fielder at first base. That's it? No, you didn't get any cream or anything? What are you doing? Alana texted me and said, what, I don't get any? So I told her, I mean, there's a whole jug of it right here in the other part.
And now let's check in again with Alana Rizzo.
Not now, you're not.
2-1 on Helton. Three and 1. Helton came into the ball game hitting .370 lifetime against the Phillies. He and Matt Diaz, highest active averages against Philadelphia pitching. Junior at second with 2 outs. And this is in the air to left field. Ibanez is going to grab it, and that's all for the Rockies in the third inning. Phil's lead it as we go to the fourth, 2-0. He's won 100 games. And the possibility of doing that this year, sitting at 69 and 39. You know, if they win 32 more ball games this year, George, Charlie Manuel will become the all-time winningest manager in Philadelphia history. They've been playing baseball for a while there. They're 7 games up now in the East on Atlanta. Pretty good division when you consider the Marlins 15.5 back, and they've kind of righted things under Jack McKeon. They're just a game under 500.
Yeah, the Mets, we're through 4 games over now. They're 1 game over, so they're starting to play a lot better baseball, and that will affect the outcome of the wild card, I think, more than the divisional race. I think the Phillies have that wrapped up.
Ryan Howard has hit a long home run to the second deck in right center field. His 22nd of the year. And for Ryan Howard, just the 4th time he's hit a home run at Coors Field in 19 games.
Well, a lot of times that's because you pitch away from his power, particularly if guys are on base. You're going to soft feel everything into the plate. This sinker just stayed up into the zone. Belt high from Cook. And he just ends up just waylaying this thing. I mean, that's Howard's sweet spot up, out over the plate, can extend those big arms, and he did.
Off the plate, ball 1 on Hunter Pence, who doubled in a run his first time. Jeff, this thing went a mile.
Well, yeah, it did, and it sounded like it was going to go a mile down here at field level.
This is line to right. Smith is there. That is the 275th career home run for Ryan Howard already. Seems like he just arrived, but he is 31. Wasn't quite yesterday. But again, more home runs over the last 6 years than anybody in baseball. More RBIs than anybody in baseball over the last 6 years. And it's not close. Ibanez takes a ball. 762 ribbies. And a distant second is a guy who's a pretty good hitter in Albert Pujols, last time I checked. Ibanez with a line single to center.
There were 3 first basemen on that list a moment ago. 2 of them are going to be free agents at the end of this year.
In reference to Pujols and Fielder, yeah.
I just don't see how Pujols is going to leave St. Louis.
Better get a really big pocketbook when you go talk to those 2 guys. I mean, like really big.
Like a Brinks armored truck, big.
Yeah, like wherever they make gold, go get it. It's going to take a lot of it.
Placido Polanco at the plate. Polanco just recently came off the disabled list. He spent a couple weeks on the shelf with a back issue. Got off to a terrific start this year. Had 41 hits in the month of April, drove in 19 runs. And that's a base hit to right.
Elevated curveball at 71.
Ibanez goes first to third. Tell you what, Huey, for a 39-year-old, he was moving pretty well there.
Runs well underway, because I was watching where that ball went, and then I glanced back to Ibanez, and he was just getting ready to hit second base. And I was thinking to myself, wow, he's running very well.
Yeah, and he's sucking air right now. It's like, you know, this big chew I got in the side of my mouth. I mean, that's not, he didn't get punched anywhere, folks. That's just an old-time ball player. He's always been one of those guys.
And Juan Samuel, when he got there, was laughing because he was winded. Brian Schneider.
And he's really struggled in this position with runners in scoring position this year. He's hitting just 071, 1 for 14 on the season. Not many opportunities given to him.
It's outside, and it's 2-0. Brian Schneider, originally a 5th-round pick of the Expos back in 1995. This ball is hit pretty well to center field. Fowler going back. He'll make the catch, and jogging home with the Phillies' 4th run is Ibanez. Schneider's 6th RBI of the year. 4-0 Philadelphia. Well, not enough ground balls of late. That's the calling card, as you well know, for Aaron Cook. The home run, the line out, a couple of base hits, and then Schneider hitting one about 405 feet to straightaway center field. Kyle Kendrick at the plate. Stewart will use leather, smart play, and he throws out Kendrick. In the inning, 2 runs for Philadelphia. Howard with his 22nd of the year. 4-0. Brian Howard, a home run. Philadelphia got another run in the inning. They lead 4-0 as we go to the bottom of the 4th inning. Well, it's time for today's Fast Cash Sideline Report, brought to you by Fast Cash Gold Centers, where you'll always get 40% more for your gold. Typically at this time, we'll throw to Alana somewhere in the ballpark, but that somewhere happens to be right
she's
next
in the
to
ballpark.
us.
You're throwing her right next to her, and she's eating her strawberries.
That's so good, honestly.
How much did Barb make?
Well, she's had 2.
I had 2 plates.
Yeah, you had 3.
Yeah, we had enough.
I didn't have 2 cakes. I just had
There's
an
still
extra
one for
helping
you
of
back
whipped
there.
cream and strawberry.
If you want some, there's some back there for you.
But that's not why I came up here.
Hello?
I came up here to do Fast Cash.
Huey,
because
Wait a minute, he's got to do that.
You know
Hold on a
what?
minute.
We'll have some sent down to you.
Thank you.
The funny thing is, Alana hasn't visited us in. Has she come up this year?
I've been
She
up
only
here.
comes up when I'm here.
You know what? Don't flatter. Let me tell you
it's a
something.
Yankee thing.
Don't flatter yourself. She only comes up if there's food.
All right. I actually did come up here for a purpose.
Yeah, go ahead and talk
I
about
wanted
that.
to talk. Remember yesterday when John Mary Berry Jr. came off the bench? You remember this?
Unfortunately, we do remember this.
We were talking about his father, John Mary Berry Sr. and
played with Frage.
He did play with Frage in 1982 for the New York Yankees. But here's a file on him. Played for 4 different teams: Houston Astros, Royals, Toronto Blue Jays, New York Yankees. 2-time All-Star, 1,620 games. His 255 career home runs, guys, at the time when he retired, was still a franchise record for both the Royals and the Blue Jays for home runs in a single season. And Frage wanted to talk to you about him as a teammate at the end of his career, 1982 with the Yanks. What do you remember most about him?
Great guy. I mean, he came in to replace Bob Watson, who played very well for the Yankees, and then he came on and came over. I remember one story that it was in the middle of the summer. It's hot. Big John's put on a little extra weight, getting back in his years a little bit, and it's the last year he's going to play. And so Steinbrenner decided to have him take batting practice at 1 o'clock in the afternoon to get his arms tired, because he kept pulling everything deep into the upper deck and foul all the time. And they said, we'll get his arms tired, they'll stay fair. He realized he's old and he's cheating on a fastball, trying to keep it in fair territory, and he just kept pulling everything. John was a great teammate. He was a fun guy to be around. He knew how to win. And when you said that about Kansas City, you got to remember, you had Amos Otis, you had George Brett. You talk about franchise records for home runs at the time. There was great players on those teams in the 80s with the Kansas City Royals, and John was on those teams, and he was a fun player to watch.
1 ball, 1 strike on Tulowitzki, and this ball is popped up and playable for another big man. Brian Howard makes the catch. I was talking a lot to Charlie Manuel about John Mayberry Jr., and he said, he's really progressing. He's getting stronger. He's really worked on his core strength the last couple of years. He likes him a lot. Thinks he has a bright future. And I said, did you overlap at some point with Big John? And he said, absolutely. He said, I loved him. He was fun. Just like you said, George, he was great to be around.
Love the game.
Winning player.
Absolutely he was.
And Mayberry Jr. seems really unassuming, nice kid. I was talking to some of his teammates about him. Just a kid that's learning the game. Grew up with the game, obviously, with his father being around it, but doesn't take anything for granted. Still very willing to learn, very well-spoken young man. I'm going to go get more strawberries. It's always good to visit with both of you.
Hey,
you're going to get more strawberries?
Yeah.
Strawberries
pretty good. That's the only reason I'm even up here, to be honest.
You know how
that kid went to Stanford, by the way.
Go. I get all the texts about strawberries. I said, well, come get some. That's the only reason I'm here, strawberries.
I appreciate that.
Oh, it's all good.
I was just going to point out that kid went to Stanford. It's not like they, just let the
he
three
did,
of us.
and that's where he faced Houston Street.
Yes.
When Houston Street was at the University of Texas.
He
knew he was going to throw him the slider.
Number 1 draft pick by Philadelphia out of Houston. Out of Stanford.
1-1 on Seth Smith with 1 out.
Did you apply to Stanford?
Did I?
Goody.
Not unless I need somebody to mow the yard for me. Applied for some jobs. I didn't get hired.
I know you're an OU.
Edgemer Escalona warming up in the Rockies bullpen. Aaron Cook talking to Scotty Garrett, and that's an extended conversation. You don't like to see any player having that long-winded conversation with a trainer. And now Aaron walking. I think his glove was in his right hand too. Walking down to the clubhouse. That's not a good sign. Kendrick makes the stab. And Huey, you're down right at dugout level. Were you able to see Aaron? He departed with his stuff. It didn't look like he was coming back.
Yeah, I would doubt he's coming back. With just the way he was walking off and then seeing them on the phone immediately, trying to get somebody loose. that didn't look good. Now, who knows what it is? Is it, you know, I'm not going to sit here and speculate, but just seeing the way Edgemer's getting loose, getting ready to fire pretty quickly, would lead me to believe that he's going to come into the game unless Cookie goes down and gets some work, some treatment done real quick and can make it back.
1-0 on Ian Stewart. He had a fly ball to left his first time. Rockies have been held to 2 hits by Kendrick. That's all for the Rockies in the 4th inning. 4-0 Philadelphia. A reminder, Wells Fargo customers, get your 2-for-1 Rockies tickets today by going to wellsfargo.com/Rockies. And if you're not a customer, become one. Wells Fargo, member FDIC. Well, the Rockies have had to double switch. Something not right with Aaron Cook. Johnny Herrera comes into the ball game for Ian Stewart. He'll hit in the 9th spot or 3rd next inning, and to get some length out of Edgemer Escalona. That's the reason Stewart was removed, so the pitcher spot is now the 6th spot in the lineup. And Escalona, more of a 1-inning guy in Colorado Springs, been throwing the ball very well down there. He'll be asked to pick up a couple here in a perfect world.
Well, that's what he's going to have to do. He's going to have to come out here and pick a couple. If all things go right, pick up 3 innings for this ball club down there. Very impressive, over 34 appearances in AAA, 3-1, 3.18 ERA, 40 strikeouts and just 11 walks. So he started to mature into being what the Rockies had hoped. Fastball that can get up to 95 miles an hour, comfortably sits 91, 93. And a low 3/4 with a sweeping slider. Just a matter of coverage and matter of just maturity at this level and handling the same workload he's handled there.
And again, it's Jimmy Rollins leading off. He's 0 for 1 and a walk. Rollins, Victorino, and Utley. Fly ball to right center field. Dexter Fowler waiting. 1 out. Well, that man right there is Alex White. And the question from Mario in Arvada, can Alex White be a quality starter next year? Well, the Rockies are going to find out. Alex White had a press conference today. He shagged in the outfield during batting practice. He was one of 4 players to come from Cleveland in the Ubaldo Jimenez deal, and one hasn't arrived yet because he's the player to be named later, and that's Pomerantz. But Alex White had a press conference today, and Jeff and George, I was very impressed because not only did he handle himself well, but you could tell he's got an edge to him, and I mean that in a positive way.
Well, he's confident, that's for sure. And I mean, he's here about all business when he takes the mound. He's going to go down and play catch here tomorrow, leave tomorrow afternoon to go to Tulsa. Because he threw a bullpen today, there's really not anything for him to do there. Tomorrow he'll get to the ballpark about game time, go down, and then the next day do a little work. He actually thinks in his first rehab appearance for the Indians, he threw 25 pitches. But he feels like he's a lot farther along than that. Conversation with Bill Guyvette, Director of Minor League Operations, Assistant General Manager. I don't think he's that far away before you'll see him here pretty quick.
Yeah, they want him to throw, again, 25 pitches in Tulsa in his first outing on Thursday, and he hopes to progress from there. He had a similar injury, Jeff, to what De La Rosa did to his finger last year, and he did it throwing his slider. His two primary pitches, fastball obviously, which he throws a lot of, and a split finger. And he told me that it doesn't bother him right now throwing the splitter with that finger injury.
Well, two things. He went to the same doctor that Jorge went to, so that you know they're mapped out similar as far as the rehab. The second thing is, I thought it was kind of funny. He goes, well, my slider wasn't real good to begin with the finger, so don't expect it to be great when it comes back. I'm working on it. Still a work in progress. But there was a couple points in that press conference that I was just impressed with him when he was talking about, hey, I hope to be as good as Ubaldo, if not better. Those are big shoes. But the other thing was, hey, I'm just one guy. I'm here to try to fill the spot and do the best I can, and I don't like to lose.
Well, here is Alex White in his own words.
It wasn't just me that got traded for him. There were some other really good players in there. And, like I said earlier, I'm not trying to fill anybody's shoes. I'm not trying to do anything like that. I'm coming here to, be my own person, be my own player, and I hope that one day be as good as him or better.
Well, he's confident, and he's made 3 starts already for the Indians this year at the big league level and did nicely. And the Rockies hope to see him in a few weeks. And after Drew Pomerantz arrives and gets settled, possibility we'll see him in September as well.
And I think all the key to all of this is one thing is, it is a huge trade for the Rockies. They acquired some big arms, and you send a guy away. Just let those big arms, make sure they're prepared to be here to compete at this level before you push them into this level.
(2-0) on Utley. I think back to the trade, the holiday trade. Carlos Gonzalez, one of 3 players, Houston Street, Greg Smith, the other 2 that came. And Carlos had a solid spring training that first year, George, but he started the year in AAA, and then he was called up and he struggled initially. Jim Tracy said, hey, we're going to keep writing his name in the lineup. He's going to figure it out. And obviously he did, and then some. But the point being, even though he was the big name in that package for Matt, the Rockies didn't rush him and say, hey, you got to perform right now.
You run him up here, and then you're saying you're going to replace Matt Holliday, and he wasn't ready to replace him, quite honestly, in April. But he came on, obviously, and has done a nice job of maybe equaling what Matt has done here in a Rocky uniform.
And he's not far from returning. Here's the 2-1, and it's 3-1. He took batting practice today again outside. He's going to head to Colorado Springs tomorrow. He's going to hit. Well, Tom had a question on this. When is Cargo going to return to the lineup? Tom in Westminster, it's a timely question because it's just a few days away. He's going to go to Colorado Springs tomorrow, play 7 innings, and then the following day he'll play 9. The day after that he'll play 9. And then, of course, there's always the reevaluation, but that's the day he's allowed to come off. This ball's ripped to right center field. Getting back quickly is Smith. Going on the pitch was Victorino, and he hustles back just ahead of the throw. It's nice that Smith was playing deep. He took extra bases just on his alignment away from Chase Utley. 2 gone.
Victorino was all the way around second base, about a step and a half, so he had to retrace his steps and get back and slide before the throw came in from Seth.
Well, here's Ryan Howard with Victorino on first and 2 outs. Fastball at 93 for a strike. Well, Cargo, in his final swing of batting practice, if you're wondering, oh, well, is he letting it go in BP? We'll show you where he hit his last ball during batting practice this afternoon around 4:30 in the afternoon. Tonight's our Office Liquidators night, right? There's the Office Liquidators sign. That's on the facade of the third deck. He hit it 3 rows above that sign. Batting practice or not, that lets you know, Jeff, the wrist is okay.
Yeah, because you have to generate more power than what you do during the game because the pitcher's not supplying it.
Pitch out, nothing on. One and 2 on Howard, who hit his 22nd home run his last time up. 2 and 2 on Howard. Howard coming into the ball game has hit only .238 against the Rockies. Well, the reason Aaron Cook was removed, we're being told, muscle spasms in his neck as Escalona strikes out Ryan Howard. Middle of 5, the Phillies leading 4-0. Come to bat here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Mark Ellis, Chris Iannetta, and Johnny Herrera. That's a little different shot. Off the back of the stadium. Tex Toyota tonight, followed by a space. And then how about this? We've had fun with strawberry shortcake tonight. So tell us your favorite summertime dessert. By the way, Huey, did you get any of that strawberry shortcake?
You know what? I did.
I wanted to give it to Huey
so
because
nice.
I know what it's like being down here field level when you get the shaft, when all of the food goes to the booth and you guys don't share with the people down here, and I wanted to make sure you got some strawberry shortcake. And now Goodman definitely doesn't get any because that's the last piece.
Did George put his finger in this?
Not while I was watching.
Okay.
He may have after I turned away. But he did want to give you extra strawberries and extra whipped cream. You will love this. That should be your favorite summertime snack.
And yes, I did.
Okay.
Enjoy.
All right. Oh, boy.
Now you just have to
Can't
guess
wait
which
to take a
piece
bite.
he actually put his finger in.
1-2 on Mark Ellis. And this is fouled off out of play.
Don't hit the whipped cream.
Huey, we'll check back with you in the 7th.
What?
Exactly. Ellis fly ball to left field his first time. And a strikeout.
Well, now you can purchase Rockies tickets on your Android or iPhone at ColoradoRockies.com. So go do that at ColoradoRockies.com. Get your mobile ticketing right now.
Iannetta ground ball to third in the 2nd inning. This is easily the best that Kyle Kendrick has ever pitched at Coors Field.
But what has he done? He's attacked the strike zone. He's kept the ball down. When he's gotten in jams, he's been able to work out of innings. Really repeats his delivery well. Now, if you remember right, in that ball game in Philadelphia when he got beat up a little bit, well, beat up a whole lot, 7 runs in 3 innings. Blanton went down to warm up, and then they called him and said, hey, you got to go. Blanton can't. So it's a whole different mind frame when you've got 4 days to sit and wait to prepare for a ball club than having an emergency call to the bullpen and say, hey, I need you to get out here and go. And it was raining that night in Philadelphia. But he got an old back to the woodshed. Didn't have much fun back there either.
Yeah, it was raining baseballs in the right field seats every time Giambi came up. Just the Rockies' 3rd hit. Iannetta's aboard for Johnny Herrera. AT&T trivia question once again. When was the last time the Phillies won 100 ball games? 1977. They won 101. They also won 101 in 76. It's the only 2 times they've ever won 100 in a season. They almost lost 100 in 1883, their first year as the Philadelphia Quakers. They went something like 18 and 83. What was it, Doug? 17, 81 and 1. Remember that tie, George? They just late in the year.
Didn't have lights.
1 ball, 1 strike on Herrera. First AB for Johnny. Again, he came in at third base for Ian Stewart in a double switch when Cook left with neck spasms. Carlos Gonzalez and Johnny Herrera have been playing together since they were 5. How neat is that? Like in Maracaibo, Venezuela. And they are inseparable. They spent a lot of time giving each other a hard time. There goes Iannetta on the hit and run.
Jeff, that looked like a late coverage at second, like they were mixed up on who was going.
Well, they're looking at each other right now, thinking the same thing. Did you call it? No, I thought you were going to have it.
But who's the captain in this? Short or second?
It would be Jimmy Rollins who is going. And he would be the one that makes the call.
Two outs and Ewise at the plate. A ground ball to second and a base hit up the middle off the glove of Kyle Kendrick.
Five ground ball outs, 6 fly ball outs, and 3 strikeouts so far for Kyle Kendrick in the ballgame.
2-0. Time for tonight's CenturyLink high-speed pitch. And you have two guys that rely on a sinker, though Aaron Cook threw 194 miles an hour tonight. Kendrick at 91. And this is an easy play at second for Chase Utley. We move on to the 6th inning. The Rockies have just 3 hits. They're being shut out 4-0. Road Ahead is brought to you by E470 and Express Toll, celebrating 20 years of excellence. Tomorrow's an afternoon ball game with the Phils. That's the final ball game with Philadelphia this year. We're on the air with pregame show at 12:30 here on Root Sports. Then Washington's in town. Thursday and Friday, 6 o'clock we get rolling. 5:30 on Saturday and Sunday at 12:30. And that is ripped by Pence down the third base line. And Pence is going to have his second double of the ball game and his first multi-hit ball game as a Philadelphia Philly.
We know we always knock on Doug Marino about being the weatherman. We always say he said 8:14 it would start to rain. Starting to rain and it's 8:14. I mean, you can't be any more exact than that. So Drew, you're gonna have to give him the $100 you bet him.
See how long it rains. Hopefully not very. Kind of a light, kind of mist. Raul Ibanez at the plate. Singled and scored back in the 4th.
I think that depends on where you're sitting, Drew.
It's coming your way. You trust me.
Gotten hit by a raindrop yet. Left center field. Eric Young's there now. Pence. 3 hard steps off the bag, but that ball was too close to third base, even though Young doesn't throw exceptionally well. 1 gone. George, you had stepped out for a moment. We asked people what their favorite dessert was in the summer.
Yes.
Funnel cake. Always reminds me
I
of
had
summer.
some of that the other day at Modesto. It's actually pretty good.
Stuffed French toast topped with fruit. Wow, that's watermelon. Rocky Road ice cream. I like Rocky Road ice cream. Coke flavored Slurpee. Somebody like 11 had to have written that one.
That's okay.
That's
Wendy,
too sweet for me.
No. Slurpees are very nice on a hot day.
Down Juan Samuel, 1-1 on Polanco. Wait, whoa.
Bananas and bacon?
Bacon? Come on.
Oh, you've never had that? Bananas, fried bananas? They're awesome.
I didn't say that.
And brown sugar wrapped in
bacon.
bacon.
Bacon on your dessert?
Wrapped in bacon.
Never had that. Huey, help me out here.
I'm not bacon. No, I like it
for
with
breakfast.
eggs. That's right. There's nothing like s'mores cooking out, campfire.
Just a quick mention about the Rockies minor league system right now. They were 41 games under 500 in the first half of a lot of their playoffs. Second half has been a whole different story. Tri-Cities won the first half in the advanced short season in the Northwest League, so they're in the playoffs. Tulsa is tied with Northwest Arkansas now after beating Northwest Arkansas tonight. Or I should say they were leading 4-0 through seven innings. Joey Williamson had a 3-hit shutout going. Modesto trails Stockton. Boy, you talk about getting fisted. This could be a tough play, though. He does do it. Modesto was playing Stockton tonight. San Jose won the first half. Modesto trails Stockton by only 1 game. And they've got a 3-game series with them. Asheville's 4 back now in their division in the Sally League. So the minor league's playing much better. Tulsa will be stocked up pretty quickly as Mr. White goes down. And if Pomeranz happens to join, Gardner will go there. McBride, all 4 guys in a trade, will head that way later this week. And so they'll become a part of that Tulsa team. Things looking up good for the Rockies minor league system. The AAA ball club plays a full season. There's no half season there. They're 12.5 back.
0-1 on Brian Schneider. And this ball in the air to deep center field. Fowler turned his back, ran to a spot, found the baseball. Nice job by Dexter. Hunter Pence led off with a double. He's stranded at third base. Phil's up 4-0. This week, Rockies All Access takes a look back at the greatest collection of sluggers in team history, the Blake Street Bombers. Of course, find out what they're up to now, get exclusive interviews. You'll also get batting tips from Dante Bichette and Larry Walker. It's Rockies All Access, and it premieres Thursday at 5 before the Rockies and Washington Nationals game. Drew Goodman, George Frazier, Jeff Hewson, and Alana Rizzo. Bottom of the 6th inning, Dexter Fowler, Todd Helton, Troy Tulowitzki. So Rockies trying to figure out Kyle Kendrick tonight. He's confounded them. He's allowed only 3 hits, 1 other base runner. The only time the Rockies had even the whisper of a threat in the first inning, they had 2 on, first and second with 2 outs, and Seth Smith was caught looking. Other than that, not much. 1 out single by Young in the 3rd. He did steal second, but he was stranded. And then Chris Iannetta, a 1 out single last inning.
I remember Dexter called out on a fastball in. It was off the plate. But we're in on him. They go to attack that same area again.
And that pitch may have clipped the zone. It was called a ball. Here's the 1-0. Outside 2-0. Windshield damaged. Call Safelite Auto Glass 303-287-5000. Check them out online at safelite.com. This ball is pulled foul. Two and two. They're trying to go back in there again. That's where Schneider's set up. 3-2. And ball four. So a leadoff walk for Dexter here in the 6th. Second walk allowed by Kendrick. And that'll bring up Helton.
Very first time in this ball game they've been able to get a leadoff man on against Kendrick. There's been 4 other occasions that he's worked into the 6th inning. In his last 10 appearances, he's worked into the 7th inning 3 times.
Well, the first 2 at bats for Todd tonight, he'd gotten ahead in the count and then got beat with a couple fastballs. Now look for him to turn on one, get him out of there.
Ball and a strike. Rockies have slipped a game under 500 again at home. 26-27. 51 and 58 overall. Tie game 110 on the season.
Yeah, last year at home, the Rockies were 52 and 29, and the year before 51 and 30. And that's what makes those numbers that you're talking about at home so shocking.
This is pulled to Howard, and he'll step on the bag.
Yeah, he turned on it, Jeff. He did do that. Oh, right at it.
That was out of self-defense.
Coming off of the bag, you never like to be this close when you got a power hitter up, and it's right at the noggin, and he's able to put a play on it. Look right here, you're going to see it again. He's able to work his body to the side. Looked like it almost put a hole in. Helton's like, really?
You know you hit it hard when you don't even get a step out of the box. You're still finishing your swing, and the guy catches it, doubles off the other guy.
Yeah, that's a great description. He literally didn't take or make any movement toward first. Jimmy Rollins on the backhand, and he'll throw out Tulowitzki. And that inning ended quickly. We'll go to the 7th, 4-0 Phils.
Work to do as we make our way to the top of the 7th inning. They find themselves down 4-0 to the Philadelphia Phillies. I want to go back and talk a little bit about Houston Street yesterday in the 9th inning. The Philadelphia Phillies were down to their last strike, and he gives up a 2-run home run to John Mayberry Jr. Now, it's an interesting situation because Houston Street has converted 28 of 31 save opportunities, yet he has given up 10 home runs. That is the most in baseball as far as home runs are concerned for a pitcher with 20-plus save opportunities, a.k.a. closer. Now, he's tied for 7th in all of baseball in terms of save conversions. As I've mentioned, only 3 blown saves so far this season. So, George, what are you attributing that to? We know he's not a power pitcher. He's more of a finesse guy. He's comfortable with traffic on the bases, yet has given up the long ball a little bit more than he's accustomed to this year. Still very effective, though, as a closer.
Well, he's very effective because he's not afraid of coming back the next day and just pound the strike zone. But elevated pitches, making mistakes and hitters' counts, is what I attribute that to. Earlier in the pregame show, I made a comment that Doug looked it up and misunderstood me a little bit, that I asked for how many home runs he gave up with runners on base. We came up with 1. It was actually 4 of the 10 has happened. But, you know, again, I think elevated pitches, when he stays down in the zone, it's ground ball outs or swings and misses.
Kyle Kendrick with a base hit off of Escalona.
Well, the buy one, get one free suite special is still available through September on all private suites. Call 303-312-2444 for more information to get your suite at the ball yard.
Inside Jimmy Rollins. Phillies have won 13 of their last 19 encounters with the Rockies here at Coors Field. In all time, the Rockies are just 60-81 against the Phils. Swept them in the division series in 07. And got taken down in 4 games in 09. Rockies couldn't close out game 4. Chance to go back to Philadelphia for a decisive 5th game in 2009. Rollins retired, and here comes Victorino, 1 for 2 and a walk. Shane Victorino, start of 2009, has the most triples in the game. He's got 35. Second on that list, Dexter Fowler. Ioneta's going to have to hustle, and a good throw scoops it up.
And good communication, too, between Ioneta and Escalona.
Well, as a pitcher, a lot of times you fly off that mound thinking you got to get to the baseball. It's a little bit of a check swing by Victorino, and immediately Chris tells him, get out of the way, let me take my momentum and make the play on this. And I think part of this last year, if you remember, Escalona had a difficult time fielding the position covering back, so he said, you know what, I'll just eliminate this, I'll make the play for you. And a 2-part play, one by Escalona, I mean, reading the mind of Chris Ioneta and the sign language, and the pick by Helton at first.
Jay Utley's hit it hard, but he's 0 for 3. Did have an RBI and a ground out in the 1st inning. Studies that pitch. It's in there for a strike. 3rd inning of work for Edgmer Escalona after 4 innings from Aaron Cook. Cook gave up 4 runs on 5 hits, walked 1, struck out 2, left with neck spasms.
And no matter what happens, this is going to be a very fine outing for Escalona to give him the 3 innings.
A bullpen saver.
Absolutely. 3 innings of 2-hit, no-run baseball. Lexus look back on this ball game. In the first inning, Philadelphia got the quick jump on Aaron Cook. Aaron walked to Rollins, gave up a hit to Victorino, and Jimmy would come around to score, and then a 2-out double from Hunter Pence brought in the second run. In the fourth inning, Ryan Howard came up, and that's a sinker that didn't sink until it went about 440 feet. 275th home run of Ryan Howard's career, and they would get another run in the fourth. It's 4-0. Kyle Kendrick has put up zeros throughout. He's allowed just 3 hits, and he's out there in the seventh inning. Seth Smith will lead it off. Ryan Spilborghs is in the on-deck circle as the pitcher spot is now in the 6 hole, and then Mark Ellis. Smith is 0 for 2, a strikeout and a comeback. Well, a guy that we just saw in Los Angeles a week ago, a guy with an unbelievable arm. The bright lights in the Dodgers system. Ruby De La Rosa has got diagnosed with a partially torn ulnar collateral ligament. He'll have to undergo Tommy John surgery.
Yeah, that's very difficult for those guys to have to handle something like that. That is for sure. Well, the first 10,000 fans, August the 19th, are going to receive Jason Giambi t-shirts, courtesy of Quest and CenturyLink. That's right. Jason Giambi t-shirt, all against the Dodgers on August the 19th. That's a Friday night, so big crowd hopefully here to watch that ball game and to get the Jason Giambi, the first 10,000 t-shirt.
Inside 2-2 on Smith. Other office liquidators. Text to booth question. This from Lori in Littleton. I read today that Giambi wouldn't mind being traded if he could come back. What does that mean? It means exactly that. I mean, Jason's very comfortable with the Rockies. He loves playing for the organization. He loves his teammates. That's swung on and missed. But again, you know, Jason's 40, and if there's a chance to play in the postseason this year and help out a club, he'd love to do it. Get a ring.
Has not gotten one in his career. That, you know, all those years with the Yankees and everything, never had a winner's ring.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people don't realize that, George. That's a great point. And what he meant by coming back is that, you know, he'd be a free agent again at the end of the year. And if the Rockies wanted him back, he was saying, I'd love to come back again, even if he left for, say, 6 weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. Go. Philadelphia is one of those teams that have an interest to come in and be out of maybe the Matt Stairs, come off the bench and hit the bomb.
And one thing to keep in mind about not just Giambi, but any player, to be on a postseason roster, you have to be with that club prior to September 1st.
Or if somebody has an injury involved, then you replace position for position. You can do that also. Spilborghs, pinch hit, base hit. You're going to try to stretch it? Nope. Hunter Pence got to it in a hurry. Now that's the other side of the defense that you pick up with Hunter Pence, too. This ball flared down the right field line by Spilborghs, fell backwards, but he's thinking about 2 right now because the ball's on the inside part, tailing away from your outfielder. But when it hit the ground, it bounced and came straight. It didn't continue to move away, and then the quick relay throw in to Chase Utley prevented any advancement of Spilborghs.
Outside on Utley, ball 1. Or excuse me, outside on Ellis, ball 1. Got my second baseman confused there. Mark, a fly ball to left field and a strikeout this evening. Right center field, Victorino will get there. If your windshield has any sort of damage at all, please call Safelite Auto Glass, 303-287-5000, or go to safelight.com. Well, Ellis scuffling. He's 0 for his last 23 at the plate. Mama said there'd be days or several days like this if you decide to put on a baseball cap.
That's why you have to be strong mentally.
Iannetta base hit his last time up. Also a ground ball to Polanco at third. Tardy on the slider, really more of a cutter.
Jeff, where'd you get the umbrella? Was that like something you borrowed from a little girl or something?
No, I just heard it
covered you.
Well, that's okay. It's better than having nothing at all. It was underneath the box here. I didn't know it's been raining for an inning and a half, and I finally somebody tells me, "Oh, by the way, there's an umbrella right underneath this box here if you want it."
Is it chilly out, Huey?
Well, yeah, it's a little chilly with the rain dropping down on you. That's why I brought the long sleeves today. You got to be prepared, Drew.
The 5 P's, Huey.
That's exactly right.
Prior preparation prevents poor performance.
As he's sitting up there in a dry box up there. Probably have the heater on today, or is it the air conditioning? I'm not sure which.
Oh, we got golf shirts on, relaxing, having a little more strawberry shortcake.
Some coffee.
Coffee's on, yeah, absolutely.
Hey, it's not bad down here, though.
We were concerned. Can't you tell?
Obviously.
Well, I have a big umbrella up here if you'd like it. I mean, it's up to you.
That's right. Doug Klein gave this to me, so I appreciate it, Doug, one of our audio guys.
I'm just relaxing here. Maybe one day we could send Drew down and let him do play-by-play in the dugout, and you and I'll stay up here.
That would be fun.
That would be interesting because I don't. You guys scamper a lot. You can't sit still, George. So.
I can't. Well, so I mean, I'm just high energy guy.
Called strike 3 by Dale Scott. And Chris Iannetta walks off. Rockies have done a lot of that tonight. They have just 4 hits. They have not scored. 4-0. Efficiency inning. Now, good work by Edmer Escalona. Actually ended up working 3 innings of scoreless baseball. A little roller to the right side, and then a fly ball last inning to Dexter Fowler. Nice job by Escalona. Gets a big low 5, if you will, from Bob Apodaca. That's brought to you by Excel Energy. Learn about energy efficiency and how to save energy and money in your home by visiting responsiblebynature.com. 8th inning, Matt Lindstrom will take over. Ryan Howard, Hunter Pence, Raul Ibanez.
Well, the right-hander comes in making his 48th appearance. Overall, a pretty good year for him. 29 strikeouts, 42 hits given up in 40 2/3 innings. starting to face the heart of this order. 4, 5, and 6. 2 lefties and a right-hander.
Time for the Coors Light Cold Hard Blast. 4th inning, Ryan Howard against Aaron Cook. He doesn't have to grunt to hit him that far either. One ball, 1 strike. Rockies with the shift on. So Johnny Herrera, who plays a lot of second base, is on the right side, along with Mark Ellis, who is a full-time second baseman.
Yeah, I saw Mark Ellis taking some ground balls back at that depth today during batting practice. Just to get used to a ball coming off the dirt and into the grass.
It's about the 5 Ps, Huey.
And what are they, Drew?
Prior preparation prevents poor performance.
Yes. Oh. After 22 years, you remembered. I can't believe it.
Well, it's like the Peter Piper, so, you know, I just wanted to do it slowly.
Do the Peter Piper thing.
No, I'm not. Not going to happen.
Not going to happen. Not tonight. Thought it was interesting. I and Ed argued a little bit about his strike 3 call down and in pitch on a fastball. And so the very first pitch in Lindstrom.
This one's just deep left field. Young's not going to get this one either. Another home run for Ryan Howard, his 23rd. Number 276 in his career. It is 5-0.
Well, opposite field off of Lindstrom, even when it's a slider, the velocity's mid-range. I mean, it's in the 86, 87 mile an hour range. If you don't get break off of it, it could come back to hurt you. But when it's the fastball at 99, just make contact. That's just what Howard did to the opposite field. All Ely could do is just watch it trail into the outfield. Lindstrom and Pence teammates in Houston a year ago. Guys that hit a lot of home runs. And he's one of those guys to me. He knows how to act when he hits one. Ryan Howard, you don't see him stand at home plate a lot. You see him do his jog, gets around the bases, gets in the dugout. Everybody gets excited around him, but he doesn't get excited. He says, that's what I get paid to do. Hit home runs, drive in runs.
3-0 on Hunter Pence. He's a great kid. He has an outstanding reputation, and he respects the game. And a 4-pitch walk to Pence.
First 10,000 August 20th. Remember, the 19th Giambi, 20th. Guess what? You're going to receive a Troy Tulowitzki bobblehead courtesy of King Soopers. Gates will open 2 hours before at 2:10 start time. So remember that. At a 2:10 start time on the 20th, so they're going to open at 12:10. The first 10,000 will get Troy Tulowitzki's bobblehead. All that is brought to you by King Soopers.
Here's Ibanez. He's 1 for 3. Singled and scored back in the 4th inning. Raul's the first Philadelphia Philly at age 39 or older to hit 15 home runs in a season since 1983 when Joe Morgan reached that mark. Ibanez has 16 home runs right now. We were talking about the slump, Huey, that Mark Ellis is going through. Earlier this year, Ibanez went hitless in 35 at-bats. And now, you know, you look at his numbers, right around 250, not a superb average, but he's hit 16 home runs, he's driven in 60.
Well, and some in Philly were wondering, is he done? I mean, hitless in that many at-bats at your age, that's the first question that comes to mind. I remember this kid, though, back when he came up with the Seattle Mariners. And he could hit then, and he hasn't stopped since.
Pence up the middle. Ellis gets there. Can he get the force on Pence? Yes. That's a good looking play.
And one hop back up the middle, dive, lays it out, gets to the knee, and then a perfect throw to Tulowitzki. But you got a lot of speed coming into you if you're Tulowitzki, with Pence coming in. So your first priority, get the force, and then if you can turn your body and back away without getting taken out, you can see Pence coming into your screen was there to hurt.
Now Polanco, who's also 1 for 3. Another crowd in excess of 39,000, 39,128 tonight. See the Lodge Casino scoreboard going by. Cubs did a bunch of home runs in winning that ball game 11-6 today. What was it, Doug? 4 or 6? Hold on, I'll look it up. I got it right here. Ramirez hit 1, Soriano hit a couple, Bird hit 1, Soto hit 1, Colvin, that's 6. Well, the Pirates scuffling. 1-1's fouled off, 1 and 2.
Well, when you haven't been there before, you haven't been at the top of it and feel what it's like, and it's been a long time, almost 20 years for the Pirates. That you take over first place, I think they've had 15 sellouts now at the ballpark. They've been drawing wonderfully. But sometimes you wake up and go, ooh, what are we doing in first? And now all of a sudden you start to play some pretty good ball clubs, and it ends up really, you don't play that good of baseball, and it costs you.
Yeah, they've lost 5 straight now.
Doug, by the way, the rain stopped, so that doesn't count. No, so now it's raining at first base and not over third base? Jeff, is it raining?
Nah, not too much. I put the umbrella away. Don't need it anymore.
Okay, there you go. Doesn't count.
2-2 on Polanco with 1 out of Bañez at first. 5-0. Philadelphia. A couple of home runs tonight from Howard as Polanco goes down. He's not an easy guy to strike out. 2 gone. And now Lindstrom will face Brian Schneider.
Jeff, did you ever, every time I see these guys swing and miss, they look back at the umpire and they, was that a strike? Did any of them ever go, I guess so, you swung at it, go sit down?
No, they were a little nicer than that.
Huh?
Yeah, they were a little nicer and said no or yes.
Or if they went, no, it wasn't a strike, and you dummy, you swung at it again.
You still swung at it.
You know what? You'd be an absolute nightmare as an umpire.
I'd love it.
Well, you would love it.
As bad as your stuff is, and you're griping at me, are you kidding me? Got to have a lot of good one-liners go back at people.
Yeah, there'd be some nights they didn't love you too much. Two-0 on Schneider. Got a sac fly in the 4th inning. Put the ball to deep center field in the 6th. We're in the 8th inning. 5-0 Philadelphia. That's a foul ball. Boy, Tigers playing good baseball. They beat the Rangers 6-5. Eric Young in left field. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th. 5-0 Phils. Time now for the Coors Light Freeze Cam. Well, Ryan Howard's got a couple of home runs tonight. And this pretty nice play. Bullet from Helton that he turned into a double play. Nothing Dexter Fowler could do. Our Coors Light Freeze Cam. Now, this is the best outing of the year for Kyle Kendrick. Got help from his big first baseman. Kendrick, on only one other occasion, worked 5 innings in a ball game and didn't allow a run. That was back on May 7th against the Braves. No runs on 2 hits through 5 innings. It's just the 6th time in his career he's worked 5 or more innings without allowing a run. He's got a shutout going in the 8th inning with a pitch count of 102. Johnny Herrera, Eric Young, Dexter Fowler. It's David Herndon and Juan Perez. Ball and 2 strikes on Herrera. Hard on the ground, Howard. And that'll bring up Eric Young Jr. Who Wants Tacos fans? If you'd like to receive text message alerts when the Rockies score 7 or more runs for the Rockies Taco Special, text the keyword taco to 720-720. EY a base hit back in the 3rd, stole a base. I mean, the Rockies have done next to nothing against Kyle Kendrick. He's allowed just 4 hits in the game. The only extra base hit, a Dexter Fowler double way back in the 1st inning. Jeff, you remember that? He almost hit it out to the opposite field.
Yeah, right about halfway up the wall. What's surprising about that, it was the Rockies' batting average against Kyle Kendrick coming into the game at .344, the highest of anybody in his career.
One thing I've noticed that he's done a good job of tonight is really keeping the arm on the body line. In other words, when it comes out of the glove, it doesn't get behind him. He doesn't expose it. You don't see it early. So he's really repeated his delivery, hit the ball well, mixed up his pitches, and kept the ball down in the strike zone.
And probably what he's going to get for all of it is a, hey, you're back in the bullpen because Roy Oswalt's in the rotation.
Well, you know what? Pitching in the bullpen for the Philadelphia Phillies would be a whole lot better than pitching in the bullpen for some other folks. The last time he had a complete game, July 3rd, 2010, that was at Pittsburgh.
Fouled off, 2-2.
Well, exclusive gift with purchases. It's got unique collectibles, amazing ticket specials, great back-to-school items. Make your local dugout store the place for all things Rockies. Call 303-832-TEAM to find out the nearest location next to you.
And Kendrick, who doesn't strike out many, has another punch out. That is 5. Check it, 6 tonight. That is a season high. And that'll bring up Dexter Fowler. And it matches his career high.
And the last time he struck out 6 in a game came May 2nd, 2008 against the Giants. That was a while back.
Oh, 2. Jeff, I know you don't have a bat in your hands, and I know you're on a tough angle, but you're at least field level. Have any idea how he's getting this done?
He's just spotting the ball wherever Brian Snyder sets up. That's how he's doing it. He's keeping the hitters off balance. Just when you think it's going to be a changeup, it's a cut fastball, or it'll sink on you. There really haven't been a whole lot of quality swings against him, and he's worked ahead all night long.
That's called strike 3. A new career high for Kendrick. His 7th strikeout. 5-0 Philadelphia. Lines do rapid rewards, unlimited reward seats, and no blackout dates. By Braconier for all your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs. Call Braconier at 303-777-3037. Think green, think Braconier. And by Pepsi Max, go to 2012springbaseball.com for a chance to win a trip for you and 9 friends. Inside Coors Field, the Rockies have been handled thus far by Kyle Kendrick. They've been limited to 4 hits, and Tom Helmer will tell you more about what's to come after the ball game. Tom?
Well, Drew, I'm sure you've seen the movie A Few Good Men with Tom Cruise.
Yes.
I think Kendrick ordered the code red, which in this case would be a shutout, but it was a nice movie, Ty. Kyle Kendrick, great performance on the hill. We'll talk about him. Also, Cutting Edgemer. That's a spinoff of Cutting Edge, that movie as well. We had a theme going. Edgemer Escalona.
I like the code red.
All right. Not so much for the Cutting Edge.
No, I just said I like the code red. I didn't comment on number 2. I just said I like the code red.
You're darn right you like the code red. There you go. That was
you can't handle the code red.
You can't handle the code red. Well, they couldn't handle the Phillies. It was a tough night. We'll get an update on Aaron Cook as well, and it's all coming up on the Toyota postgame show. A show you can't handle.
All right, Tom. We'll check with you in a little bit. Top of the 9th inning, Rockies, as you are well aware, trailing 5-0. Tulowitzki's come out of the ball game. Johnny Herrera is at short with Chris Nelson now at third. Matt Reynolds is going to throw the top of the 9th inning. That'll be all for Kyle Kendrick. He was due to lead off, and a little bit of a buzz in the house because there are quite a few Phillies fans. John Mayberry, who had his first career at bat last night at Coors Field, and it went well for him. He hit a 2-run home run to tie up the ball game with 2 outs and a 3-2 count against Houston Street in the bottom of the 9th yesterday. In the top of the 9th yesterday. And he hits this in the air to Dexter Fowler. 1 out. So here's Jimmy Rollins for the 5th time in the game. He's 0 for 3 and a walk. Now, if you thought Kendrick was good, George, the resume for the guy tomorrow slightly more impressive.
Well, it really is. I mean, all he's done. Well, you know, I mean, if you win 182 games, you only lose 90. You throw a perfect game, you throw a no-hitter in the playoffs, you're pretty good. That's Roy Halladay, Colorado's own Roy Halladay. Will go tomorrow against Jason Hamill. 13-4, 244 this year. Amazing thing. We'll get into a lot of this tomorrow, but you know, he's thrown 162 in the third innings. He walked 19.
That reminds me of what Curt Schilling, a former Philadelphia Philly, used to do. He didn't walk anybody. That's the matchup tomorrow. So Jason Hamill will have to be on his game. Halladay at 13-4. I mean, that is just silly to look at. Jeff, 152 punch outs, and as George mentioned, 19 walks.
Kind of sounds like a video game, doesn't it?
A video game that if you're facing him, you're losing.
Yeah, you know all the cheat codes or whatever else those young kids know about video games, and I'm just going to make him like a robot, the best there is, and that's what you got in Roy Halladay.
One of my boys did that to me in Madden one
Yeah.
year. I mean, he couldn't tackle the running back.
Come play with me. Yeah. I'll show you. Yeah. Oh, I forgot to tell you about this button. I always got that one. They'd have the game figured out. Wouldn't tell you all the steps in order to play.
Not right. Popped up right side and Ionetta converge on it near the railing and falls to the ground.
That was just miscommunication. That ball came back. It looked like it might be on top of the dugout.
Well, at least the mistake didn't come back to hurt anybody. A soft fly ball to right. 1, 2, or 3 inning from Mount River.
We'll go to the bottom of the ninth to 20th and Blake. Phillies leading 5-zip. World, your workplace. Philly got off to a quick start against Aaron Cook. They got 2 in the first. They got 2 more in the 4th inning, including a home run by Ryan Howard. Then Aaron had to leave with neck spasms. 3 good innings from Edgemer Escalona. And then another home run from Ryan Howard against Matt Lindstrom in the 8th. The Rockies have done nothing against Kyle Kendrick. He has a career high in strikeouts with 7. The Rockies have not touched third base in this ball game as they come to bat in the bottom of the 9th inning. And David Herndon will throw the 9th inning for Charlie Manuel's team.
30th appearance, 5-run lead. He's been kind of the young long man coming out of their bullpen now. Heavy sink slider, try to keep the ball down in the zone. Herndon has gone very quickly through the organization, selected by the Angels in the 06 draft in the 5th round, and then Rule 5'd by the Philadelphia Phillies out of their AA ball club at Arkansas, where he pitched in 15 games. Last year with Philadelphia, 52 innings.
Touched the inside corner, 2-1 on Todd. Four hits for the Rockies. Young has a hit, Fowler a double, Spielborg's a hit. Todd's not going to get one here. Also Iannetta with a single, 1 out. With Tulowitzki coming up, we tell you that this copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Colorado Rockies and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Colorado Rockies. Chris Nelson, let me correct, that's coming up. Tulowitzki out of the ball game last half inning. Chris got the start last night at third, 1 for 4. And this ball lined to right field. Pence will come on and make a sliding catch. 2 outs. Now, Jeff, he's playing fairly shallow.
And he got a good jump on it, too. When you're up by 5 runs, you get the jump on it. You can make that sliding catch, the attempt at it, and that's what he did off the bat of Chris Nelson. That's why he's one of those all-around players that can do a lot and brings a high energy to their club.
He leads all National League right fielders in assists. And it's interesting because when he came out of Texas Arlington as a second-round pick, one of the question marks about him was arm strength. And he has really developed his arm.
He just kept working at it. Kept wanting to prove people wrong, as George talked about last night coming out of UTA.
Here's the 1-0 to Smith. Atlanta got beat by Washington earlier, 9-3. Ball game in which Rick Ankiel hit a grand slam.
Now separation will be 8 games now. There were 6 coming in. That's Philly just taking off.
And keep in mind, Atlanta will be 8 games back, and they'll still have the second best record in the National League.
But that wild card lead that they had that was big is starting to slim down a little bit with Arizona coming on.
The Diamondbacks just a game out behind the Giants, and they're scoreless in the 4th inning tonight. This is popped up and playable in foul ground. This will do it. Polanco waiting, and Philadelphia completely dominates the Rockies tonight. 5-0 is the final for the Phils. It's their 14th shutout of the year. That leads the National League. Cleveland leads the American League with 14 shutouts. Kyle Kendrick, the first visiting pitcher at Coors Field this year to go at least 8 innings and not allow a run. Kendrick improves to 6-5. Aaron Cook takes the loss. He is 2-6. Philadelphia wins for the 70th time this year. The Rockies fall to 51-59. Tonight's delivery of the game is brought to you by Jimmy John's, America's favorite sandwich delivery guys. And you have to tip your cap to the work of Kyle Kendrick, a guy that's been asked to start games with Joe Blanton out, all likelihood for the year. And it's like, name that 5th starter other than the Big 4 in Philadelphia. Well, Kendrick let the rest of baseball know exactly who he is again. 5-0 Philadelphia. Stick around. The postgame show is up next.